Howdy everyone, it's Ethan Hardy here. I'm in Tennessee at the moment. I'm at the Axe and Anvil shop run by Mr. Jordan Goodwin. You can see he's just lighting the fire this morning in his shop here. And it's a little chilly these last few days, so there's a fire going in the house. Today we're going to be working on some projects that Jordan needs to get done for orders. Right now, what's our first job to do this morning?
So I've got several orders for froze, and these are made of wrought iron, and so we've got to straighten this old wagon tire out, section of wagon tire, straighten it out, and then rework it, resize it into the bar stock that I need.
Okay.
So we're going to get to spend a whole bunch of work before we even get to start the project.
Yeah.
This is a very crude hand-forged fro. Look at how rough this forge weld is. I mean, it's just stuck on there.
Yeah.
It's just stuck on there, and then that's good enough. There's nothing wrong with that. But anyway, that's not the fro I'm copying. That doesn't need to be there. I'm kind of asking for it hitting it where it's cold, but hold it right out of there.
I got that on camera too.
Any friends of mine filming when I made that crossbeam hammer I was showing you last night.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the dudes, so he does a lot of his filming, and this guy's a career filmmaker. And he does a lot of his filming on an iPhone, like an iPhone 11 or
yep.
whatever, one of the latest and greatest. And he set his phone right here, facing out, while we were working. And I don't remember what it was.
For a shot or
yeah, and the hammer billet fell on the floor so close that it bumped his phone. And then I reached over to get it and knocked the top tool, the flatter, off on the floor, and it landed right next to it. So this is the fro I use for reference. This one's got a fairly thick spine. It would be well suited to heavy riving like shingles and stuff like that. But notice how nice and clean this eye is. It's a little bit oblong, but it's also been abused over the years. But notice how nice and clean that is. And that's achieved by doing an upset corner and a step down and then having the corners meet when you wrap it around. I've been starting, so I'm going for a fro about that size, but with a 3/8 thick spine.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been starting with a 1/2 inch thick bar, doing a set down area, and then upsetting those corners. And I'm gonna try this time just going straight to a 3/8 bar and doing upset corners without setting down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna see if that's a little faster and easier. Should be giving them a warning lightly. I had more of that. I should have ordered some more. I have on hand while you were here. Some more of that 1.25" 1080 to a square 1.5" or whatever that it is to forge 2-inch round down to 1.5" square. Very nice. Should have left that alone and make a nice scarf. So on these, you want to leave about a cube of material. And that's an acceptable head, although it's a little bit off center. You kind of got to learn to judge how much material to use for the length of shank you're trying to do. But the first thing to do is I draw out the point over the edge. And I'm trying to get basically an even taper from one end to the other. Definitely don't. I'm okay with the point being a little thin. I'd rather it not be a little thick. So there's the shank. So there's the shank. And if you're careful, it'll be even cleaner than that, but it doesn't have to be. But it does need to fit in the header. And until you get some practice with your header, you may want to check the nail in the header first. But notice how the shank's offset to one corner.
Yep.
It's offset to one corner. I used to, after making the shank, use half on, half off blows to knock the shank back over in the center. But I've quit doing that because it's an extra step. At least for most of the nails I make, it's not necessary anymore. And I'll show you why. Or I'll show you how I get around it. So I also used to use a single beveled hot cut because it would leave a nice square end on, well, I'll show you. I'll show you when I get to that. All right, so now I'm going to cut so that I got that shank that's offset. I'm going to lay this on the anvil. And I'm going to cut from, or lay this on the hot cut, and I'm going to cut from the sides with the shoulder. See how I've cut from the sides with the shoulder?
Yes.
Okay, now what that does is that leaves me extra material over the corner that's not offset.
Okay.
And so when I go to make the head, it'll kind of all even out. But it is challenging to, as you're hammering the material for the head down to make the head. It's challenging to keep, because of that peak of material. The head wants to fall over while you're trying to make it. So it takes some practice to get to the point where you can do that. Yes. All right. Thank you. So. So then when I hammer that down, that material is basically centered. You get a fairly centered head. Yes?
Mama and Marion and Alan and Travis and Mama are going to go to the mailbox.
Hey. All right.
What about Emily?
Emily, are you gonna go with them?